Hey, Minkah, with Miles Sanders, even though he's a running back, how much do you need to prepare for him as a receiving threat? And does he remind you at all of the back that you guys faced in week one and Saquon?
Sanders, he's a great running back, great running the ball, but he's also a threat. Sometimes they motion him out, line him up at number one receiver, get mismatches on him with linebackers, center vertical, make him run slants and stuff like that. Once he's outside of the backfield, he's definitely a receiving threat. Like I said, he's a very talented guy. He can catch the ball. Has similar qualities to Saquon. Both of them are dual threat guys as running backs, and I would say he's definitely a receiving threat. Got to know where he is, and definitely similar to 26 in New York.
Tim Benz, Trib.
Mick, I know they've had some injuries at wide receiver. I was wondering if, when you look at tape of the Eagles, our team is now perhaps spending even more attention trying to take away Zach Ertz. Is that part of the reason why maybe he hasn't busted out for a really big game yet?
They're missing two of their top receivers in Jackson and Jeffrey. They might play this week. We don't know when we're preparing like they are going to play. But the last 3-4 games they haven't been in there, and it's kind of tough when you have a guy that depends on people taking coverage away from him. Ertz is a great tight end, great hands, can make competitive catches. He is who he is. We all know who he is. When you don't have those other receivers out there to take double teams off of him and everything else like that, could obviously get difficult when you got 2 or 3 guys covering.
Jenna Harner, PXI.
Minkah, just kind of in general, what's the biggest threat that this Eagles team poses to you guys as a defense?
The biggest threat? I would just say they're the team lined up across from us, and that's more than enough. You have to respect everybody that lines up across from everybody here. They sign a contract, they get paid money too, and they're in the NFL for a reason. Whoever it is that lines up in front of you, you got to treat them as a threat and then handle them as such.
Brooke Pryor, ESPN.
Hey, Minkah, I saw that you were on Bud's new show, Bud Brings a Buddy. Just wondering, how did you guys end up with a friendship? It seems like off the field, and what is your relationship like?
I mean, Bud's an awesome dude. He's very charismatic. He looks mean and all that, but he's a great guy. He loves to have fun. He wanted to be on the show, and I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? People don't know too much about me, and he said I'm too quiet, so he wanted me on the show to just speak up a little bit, speak out a little bit, line up a little bit, and just have fun with it.
Chris Adamski, Trib.
Hey, Minkah, for somebody who's, you've been here 13 months now, Vince Williams isn't a...
Oh, sorry, Chris. Can you hear us?
Hello? Are we there now?
We can hear you.
Okay, gotcha. Like I say, Minkah, you talk about Vince Williams. He's not officially a captain. When you got here, he wasn't even really a starter, but he seems to be kind of a leader for you guys. Is that true? And how much kind of a voice does he carry in terms of the defense?
The title captain is tough, especially here. We got multiple guys that could be captains, but we only vote on 2. You know what I'm saying? I can name at least 5 guys that should be captain, and Vince was, Vince actually got one of my votes. You know what I'm saying, to be a captain. He's a great leader. He's a workhorse. You know what I'm saying? He does everything the right way. He don't cut no corners, and he came from not the typical background of a high caliber player like he is. He grinded for everything that he has. He keeps that in the back of his mind, and he plays like, you know what I'm saying, there's nobody that he'll run through somebody and be excited about it. You know what I'm saying? And I love playing with him. Plays with great energy, and he just makes the game a lot more fun to just be around him.
Noah Strackbeam, Sports Illustrated.
Hey, Minkah, when going back to the wide receiver depth, you said that you guys are preparing as if, Jeffrey and Jackson will play, but how difficult is it, or what is it like to prepare for a team where, both of their starters might play, both of them might not?
Well, when you have two guys like them who have years and years of film, or not years and years of film, but a year or two of film with a quarterback that has already been in there, you get to watch older tape. Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, both of them, they made names for themselves across the league, doing the same type of thing. So there's plenty of film with them. There are younger guys, newer guys that haven't played yet, then it'll be a little bit more difficult. But, both of them are two household names across the league. So.
Hey Vance, how are you? Looking from afar, it seems like you and Ebron have different personality traits, different skill sets, maybe tight ends, maybe different approaches. Would you agree with that? In a way, do you think that you two complement each other in that way?
Yeah, for sure. I've just liked Eric more and more since he's been here. He brings obviously just the element of fun. I mean, he's very lighthearted, always joking around, humongous playmaking capability. But he's really fun to be around. And I think obviously our skill sets are different. And so, when it comes to an offense, obviously being able to bring two different types of things and I guess talents to the table. It's been really fun having him this year.
Brooke Pryor.
Hey Vance, after games, we've heard Ben be really critical of how he's played and then said, hey, I need to work on some things, like I need to work on my footwork. And then we've seen that carry over to where he's even taking his normal off day to work on footwork. What does that do for the team to see a guy who's been in the league so long continue to focus on things that he needs to fix and want to get better? And what does that say to you about how Ben is motivated this season?
Yeah, I said it, early on going back to the offseason, there's a fire under Ben that, not only do I see, but other people picked up on it. And that he's got qualities in him. He's just a natural leader that's just contagious, specifically talking about your question, to see a guy who's been doing it for so long, come out and continue to that thing that you hear coaches say that can almost be annoying at times, depending on how, your mood or mindset of just like, you're only getting better in a day that you don't get better, you're getting worse. So to see a guy like Ben come out and been doing it for so long, and he's doing little things each day to improve his game. It's contagious for guys to see it. Again, his natural leadership ability, he's going to bring guys along with him. So it's obviously at his position, being a quarterback and stuff too. It has even more weight because there's always a sort of leadership role that a quarterback has to maintain on any team, just because of the position itself. So we are very fortunate to have a player like Ben and a leader like Ben on us that's carrying us this season.
Jeff Hathorn.
Morning, Vince. Could you speak to the issues of the Philly pass rush, and are they tough to identify? What kind of challenge is that going to be on Sunday?
Yeah, I remember after my rookie year, I did a bunch of interviews and stuff. How you do that with rookies and stuff. And they asked me who the hardest person I was to block that year, and it was Brandon Graham whenever we played the Eagles. And I still have so much respect for that guy. He's so talented. The way he plays, he's just, his relentless effort, his ability to penetrate, to shed blocks, and to just pursue the football is just unbelievable. And anyway, but yeah, I mean, you look at them from across the board. Obviously, that was where their strength lies, is the front. So, different kind of defense for us finally this week, through the first 3 games that we've played. It'll be a challenge for us, but obviously I think for our team, our strength lies up front, both offensively and defensively. So, it's going to be a challenge, and it's a challenge that we're ready for.
Brian Becko.
Good morning, Vance. Beyond how the scheduling issue affected you guys last week, how much are you paying attention to some of the, memos, protocol policy things that are coming out of the NFL, especially like with what the Titans is going on down there? I mean, can you ignore all that, or does part of you kind of have to stay abreast of it because it does affect the whole league?
I guess my answer is pretty easy. I just ignore everything. And, I got rid of all my social media. I don't read news. I don't read articles. I don't read any football talk. If it's presented to me through Coach Tomlin or through some other medium here with the Steelers organization about affecting me specifically, then I pay attention to it. And otherwise, I honestly I don't really care.
Helen Saunders.
Hey, Vance, I saw something that said you guys are 5th in the league in players in motion at the snap. How do you feel like you guys have dealt with doing that more often? And are there times when you've seen the advantage of that guy going in motion at the snap, whether that's in the passing game or in the running game?
Yeah. We talked briefly about this, I think, in an interview I had with, talking about, Matt Canada coming in and introducing a little bit of his philosophy into our scheme overall. And, obviously, I think the evidence is out there. I didn't know we were 5th in the league. That's an interesting stat. But, the evidence is out there. I mean, as human beings and football players, especially defensively, we're reactionary, and vision has a lot to do with that reaction. It's the dominant sense, obviously, that they're using, especially at linebacker. And so not only are they lining their defense up, echoing and giving calls out, but they're having to watch all of this. And at the same time, all the film study and everything they do beforehand, before going into that game, all accounts for something that can distract them, something that can pull them away from their gap, even if it's a half step. As the saying goes in football, a blade of grass is a blade of grass, and we need every one of them. And so the evidence is there that even if it's one snap out of, 70 plays on average in a game, 65 for offense, that a defensive player is out of a gap or their responsibility, they're a half a second slower to that responsibility. It's an edge for us. And so I think, honestly, for me, my own personal opinion, like we could do even more of it. That's a matter of getting the play call into the huddle, getting up to the line of scrimmage, and having plenty of time on the play clock in order to carry out all those movements and shifts. But I think it's been a good balance for us so far.
All right, got time for a few follow-ups. Mark Caboli.
Hey, Vance, Mike Tomlin said the other day your attitude has been really great when it comes to what they ask you to do. Is that asking you to block more, and is that a tough adjustment for somebody who has shown to have the talent to contribute, catching the ball?
Yeah, I mean, whether it needed to be, showcased long ago or if it's coming out now, like, I don't care. I consider myself just like a soldier, and I'm going to do whatever the coaches ask me to do. I told Eric point blank, like, dude, I would rather block all game and catch one ball. And that's the absolute truth. I love, not to say that it's just like, it's my little project, but I absolutely love investing my time into Eric. Just from the background and the 4 years I've been here of experience in the scheme, and just tell him all the nuances I've learned over the years, and to just offer it to him to see how he wants to take it, whether he wants to use it and apply it or not. But I live through Eric's success in the passing game. And if that's all that it ever is, then I'm as happy as I'll ever be. Again, last week we had a good sharing of opportunities between Eric and myself in the passing game. And those came down to just situational moments when, I was the read, I was the target, or I was the only guy that was open. And so, again, the potential I know of what we have for our room, it's always going to be there. At the same time, too, like I said, I find satisfaction and joy and happiness in carrying out the responsibility that's laid in front of me that week. Obviously, with the acquisition of Eric, I'm not an idiot. Eric is a better pass catching tight end and threat than I am. And so I recognize that. I don't bury my head in the sand because of that fact. Like, I'm not going to walk around with some false amount of pride and ego. And so with all that, I love watching Eric succeed. And I will bend over backwards to make sure that happens every single week. But anyway, all that being said, it is what it is in this season and everything else. I love, the words, if Coach Tomlin said that. But again, like that's been my mindset from day one. Whatever it takes for this team. I'm not in the rooms to make calls on what players should and shouldn't be doing that week or what responsibility they have. That's outside my pay grade. I simply receive the information and carry it out, and I love doing that.